Hey, this is Rod. I'm doing some work with ZFS file system. I should know what ZFS file system is, but I don't. I think it stands for, well, I'm not sure what it stands for, but so somebody told me about this thing, so I started playing with it. So this is a free BSD box right here, and I have a couple flash drives hooked to it that I'm playing with. So here's a little SanDisk drive here with an external cable. Over to the right of the screen, there's two others. So this is one of a RAID Z volume. You see right there, it says RAID Z 1. And this was the screen when it was actually all screwed up from testing. I took one of the, this was when two of the drives were offline or removed. Only one was available after causing a bunch of communication errors. It continued to work, even though it said up here you'll see state unavailable. Oh, you can't see that. Let's see if I can move it up here. Anyway, so state unavailable up there. So it said it was unavailable, which, but yet it was. I mean, the drive was still mounted. Said one here it says one or more devices are faulted in response to I/O failures. Scrub finally repaired it to where I could do some things and get it back. So let's go back to the console. I'm going to hit Alt F1. So this is the free BSD console, and now you see that everything's happy. We got our RAID Z storage, DA1, 2, and 3. Yeah, so, well, I wouldn't say perfectly happy. So we're online, but it says one or more of your devices is being resilvered. Wait for the resilver to complete, resilver in progress. And it's been going on here for quite a while, and it's still not, it's not going very fast. I'm not quite sure why. But what's fun is, so, you know, in experimenting with this, it's, you know, you could take a drive offline by just pulling one of the drives out, and then all of a sudden you see it go offline. But what I wanted to do is cause some errors in the actual drive, and meaning, you know, bit errors, and then see how ZFS handled that. So, you know, damaging the USB stick, extreme cold, extreme hot, heat. I don't know. I figured, how about some voltage? So I have a voltage source. Came from those toys that make sparks. So you might barely be able to see this in the video. There's an arc right there being created. You might be able to see it there. Yeah, so I'm actually holding this wrench and I can't even feel it. This wrench has so much metal that it basically, at that frequency, this wrench just attenuates the heck out of it. Now, if it was a smaller piece of metal and I touched it, I'd actually get a pretty good shock. So it is kind of painful, but it's really pretty low power. But it is high voltage. It's several thousand volts. So what I did is USB, right, has several. If you pull open the USB, you'll see 4 little conductors in there. You know, each pair is for a data channel. So you have positive and negative for one data channel, positive and negative for another data channel. So it's 4 wires. But in most USBs, the outer part is a shield. This cheap disc doesn't even have a shielded connection. It's actually all plastic. But there's still a shield metal around there. And actually, I want to apply the voltage right there, which basically is going to apply it to this shield. This is a braided shield. And that voltage, the couple thousand volts, will actually create a couple 5 to 6 volts, maybe 10, 20 volts into the actual wires inside it. It's so high voltage that the voltage actually gets into the other wires, and it's going to cause data problems with the USB flash. So after I do that, we're gonna run this command zpool status. So you could barely see that. So right now everything's online, DA1, DA2, DA3. We're on the console. So so this is what it looked like before. So I'm on the console. Like if I pull the USB right now, we'll see console errors. So we're gonna see any errors that this generates. So again, the actual USB conductors are on this side. I'm going to hit the voltage right here on this plastic, but it's going to go in there into the shield, and we're going to create some errors, and we'll watch it on the screen while it happens. So let me lower this a little bit so you can see the screen, and then we'll apply our voltage. And what's cool about this is 15 kilohertz, so you can actually hear it. So I don't know if you could hear it on the video, but I love this little flyback. So it makes a nice little sound. You can barely hear it on the video, but anyway, it just gives you a good feedback. Uh-oh, I got an error already. Crap, just from setting the USB stick down. Let's see. I think I actually unplugged it. Crap. All right, so let's go back. Let's look at the status. Everything's online, oddly enough, but I am getting some USB errors. So my USB stick might actually be damaged. I could have actually damaged part of it while applying the voltage. So I'm getting these CDB things. So interesting enough, VDEF probe failure. It's really having problems. So let's go back to our status screen. Oh, we got 17 data errors right there. Not good. So we're 52% done, but we're hitting errors that cannot be corrected. So let's go back to Alt F1. Yeah, this little drive is just having problems, but we're gonna make it have more problems here. We're gonna apply a bunch of voltage. If we destroy it, we destroy it. But let's just do one more. Oh no, we're still online. Okay, good. Okay, so let's go back to the console. Ooh, this is getting really irritating, all these USB errors. All right, let's see if they calm down here for a minute. All right, looks like they've calmed down. So let's hit it with some voltage, see if we can knock this USB offline, creating a bunch of errors here. Okay, now just putting that wire near there will actually induce some voltage, but then I'm going to jam it in so it touches the, I'm going to pull it apart a little bit so it's easier to get to. So I'm going to actually jam it in between that gap and touch so there's a little better gap there now. I'm going to touch the shield, the USB shield. So here we go. Boom. Okay, retrying command. Okay, so all of a sudden we got SanDisk Cruiser Edge at USB 1 disconnect. DA2 is toasted. Yet the system's still trying to write and still giving errors. So let's go look at our status now. Oh, our status won't even run. It's such in a bad state. Our mount is storage, and he is still appears to be still there. Storage down here. I only have 2 gigs of data there. That's in kilobytes. Still mounted, but our zpool status isn't even showing. Or did it finally come up? Okay, so we have 2 disks online. State says unavailable, which is kind of bullshit because it's actually working. I don't know why it says that. One or more devices currently being resilvered. So last time it told me I needed to clear the disk. Because this is saying it's removed. There's no DA2. Was dev DA2, so let's see if maybe something's changed. So it's scrubbing it right now, doing a resilver. Scrub, resilver, I get them mixed up. ZFS will tell you that it's unavailable, but it actually is still there, and you can still read and write to the disk. If I do -V, tells me some detail about the errors. I guess these are blocks, permanent errors. So at this point, I would say we would need to reattach that disk. But it's interesting, it's not telling us that. It's just saying I'm gonna run fine with DA1 and DA3. There's a 3-disk RAID array, and it's basically saying wait for the resilver. Resilver is 52% done, so probably do what it says. After the resilver, you might have to reattach that disk. But this disk, let's go back to the console. This disk may be having problems because of the voltage I've given it. It was working and it was writing data, but it was slow. I think I may have actually damaged it by hitting it with the 5,000 volts or however many volts. I think it's around 5,000 volts this thing's generating. Now, that voltage went there, which went to the shield, which induced some voltage into the electronics, but it actually didn't get 5,000 volts in the electronics of the USB flash. And it's really not that powerful. It's just really high voltage, and it's about 15 kilohertz, which is enough to cause a whole lot of noise on those data channels. But it'll be, I don't know. I somehow I could have irreparably damaged the flash memory, which is okay because this is all test, and I'm trying to figure out how ZFS handles catastrophic damage. For the most part, it handles it okay. This didn't take the drive offline, and I think it should be able to correct all the damage. So anyway, that's ZFS against a flyback transformer with a couple thousand volts there. So be careful with high voltage. It hurts. Doesn't take much voltage to stop your heart. So don't let your kids play with it, and don't do this without parent supervision, adult supervision, or at least have somebody in the house in case you do die, get a cardiac arrest. You can maybe have somebody help you. So anyway, that's FreeBSD on using ZFS, a RAID Z array, and that's how ZFS handles RAIDs. I wish I could show adding the disk back. But, so adding the disk back would be like ZFS, let's do a man. So if you do a man on ZFS, it'll give you some, so what I had to do is I had to do ZFS clear, and then, online the USB drive, actually 2 of them. So you have ZFS mount, unmount. If your system's really hosed and you just need to completely nuke the ZFS, you do have to unmount it either here or on the FreeBSD using the U-mount, and then build it again. If it really, I destroyed it so bad that I had to do that a few times so I basically had to do ZFS, or no, first I had to unmount it. So you mount the drive. And I actually had to do F-F to force it with a flag or argument of -F, and then just the name of the thing. I had to do that and rebuild the pool at one point because the drives were so hosed up. It's been, once the data gets onto these things, copying it back off, everybody knows is a little bit faster. Flash does faster reading than it does writing. But the writing still seems slow for a RAID array. I would expect it to be a little bit faster, but it's not. Could be just the shared USB hub or something. I actually don't have 3 different channels. So there's a couple things going on. Also, this box only has 2 gig of RAM. When zpool comes up, it complains that it doesn't have enough RAM. So that could be part of it. Yes, this is running really slow. So I kind of think there's something else going on here. Usually you see this fit, like with only a couple gigabytes, this will resilver pretty quick. It's not moving very much past 52%. It's pretty stuck there. And if I go to my console, I don't know what's going on. The USB says it's disconnected. It says the hub is throwing errors. These things went away, these other errors, but yeah, I could have damaged this USB drive. I don't know. I'll have to do some more scrubbing on it to see if it's still usable. This is an 8 gig old SanDisk, but they're great for doing this stuff. It actually, Linux talks to it through the SCSI protocol, even though it's a little cheap flash drive. So good little test for testing out things. Okay, that's all for now.